Okay, I'm just gonna go over like some general and specific things, and then I'll bring you two in for discussion. I'll keep it unmuted so you can hear what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm gonna open this up as spoiler free, and then I'll get into spoilers later. So in general, okay, so typically I like to sit on a movie for a night before I take like too deep a look into it, because I feel like just taking a night to let things like settle, I think helps me get a better idea of it. I don't know how I'll feel about anything the next day. Those feelings can change overnight, so I'll preface that with this. So again, with no spoilers, I'm going to try very hard to do no spoilers for this opening, but okay, this is something I'm not used to doing. I feel like it was, when I saw it, I think that if you don't think about it, I think I said this on Twitter, if you don't really think about it too deeply, I think it was a pretty good movie. Really good movie, I think. I think that the way the movie looks is actually really, really cool. Not even just like there are like really cool shots in this movie. One of them is like one of the coolest shots I've ever seen ever in any space like related movie, which was really cool. And then yeah, I don't know, the camera stuff, it seems really cool. I wish I could go into more detail, but that's really cool. That's really cool. The music was fine. It's kind of funny in some places, kind of sad and deep in other places. It seems like the general like framework is pretty good, but man, when you take a deeper look at it, and then when you take a more comprehensive look at it, I think there are very, very serious flaws. I would see the movie though. If you're thinking about seeing it, I would definitely see it. I mean, it's a Star Wars movie. You should. If you're part of like Western civilization, you should see the movie. Yeah, and that's kind of all. I think that's kind of what I have for like the general. Is that okay? Is there any other questions like generally before I can get into like spoiler related shit? I don't like doing this non-spoiler. It feels stupid.
Do you want us to talk about it?
I mean,
or do you just want to talk by yourself? You know?
Or is there anything more to say like generally?
I don't know. I felt like I was surprised.
I said no spoilers right now. So,
yeah. I was surprised by like how lighthearted some of that shit was.
Yeah,
like,
I kind of
there was more humor
stuff
than I was expecting.
Yeah, there was a decent bit of like snarky comedy related things in this.
Almost too much in my opinion. I don't know.
Maybe I think it's like a newer age. It's just like a newer era of movies. In serious movies in the past,
it's like the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, well, no. Well, I don't know if it was quite.
Wasn't there a lot of comedy
level.
there?
There was, but
like,
I don't know if it was quite Guardians of the Galaxy level. But I would say more comparable to like any Marvel movie, maybe.
Like even compared to the last Star Wars movie, like Force Awakens. Mm-hmm. Like I watched that like 2 months ago. There was not that much comedy in that movie. Yeah, I was really surprised by how they just kept going back. It's like every 10 minutes we need a joke.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I guess I don't know how I feel about that more than anything else. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I mean, it's supposed to be a movie for young people, so I mean, I think that's okay. I don't know how young, but yeah.
Yeah, overall, yeah, I would agree with what you said though. Overall, I thought I would probably go higher. I'd probably say maybe a 7, but
I'd get one lower. I'd say a 5 because I just expect a movie like of that budget and of that like prowess, like just to be visually amazing. So I don't know. I don't really give him much credit for that.
Sure, and that's the thing is I go into these things with no expectations.
Oh yeah.
Like this is the first time I went to a movie theater since I saw Interstellar with Steven, so I have like no expectations for movies. So that makes sense to me.
Kyle, did it feel like you couldn't have like a moment where like you couldn't have like a real moment without like a joke being had? That's kind of how I was like, I don't know. It's kind of how I was feeling.
I don't think there was a single moment where there wasn't a joke said. Like
there was like no.
Yeah, that was my issue.
Yeah. There was like no quiet movements in that entire movie too. It felt like, I mean, well, I guess the first movie felt like that too, where it's just very much the high pace, a lot of shit going on, not a lot of quiet moments. And again, I don't know how I feel about that in general. In the end, I came out like enjoying it. Yeah, I agree.
Okay, can we start getting into spoilers now? Okay, we're moving past this, and now we're getting into spoilers. You have been warned. This is now a spoiler zone. Okay, Derby said the most iconic scene is silent. Wait, which scene is that?
That's the one where slicing ship.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that was probably my favorite space-related scene of all time.
Scene.
Yeah, that's actually the coolest thing I've ever seen done, like in space, like in all time. Well, but
do you remember?
Go ahead.
Do you remember the same thing kind of happened in Interstellar?
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
But I would expect that from Interstellar because that's his style. I wouldn't expect that in a Star Wars movie. Star Wars movies are always about loud explosions and all sorts of shit in space, whereas Interstellar was thematically consistent and not having any sounds in space. I thought that shot was really, really, really cool. That was like one of the
coolest. Was there sounds in the Leia one?
In the
when
what?
She was out there in the very start of the movie, when Leia was out there after she like got blown out in space, was there sound there?
I mean, there's always like music and shit, but that's literally like what Dover is talking about. That was literally like a 15-second fucking thing. Like, there's not very much silence in this movie. Like, yeah. Yeah. So just like minor plot things, because I'm not really big on like pointing out plot holes, but man, there are a couple plot things that could make this movie so much more enjoyable. I wish that Finn, wait, no, not Finn. What's the name of the Resistance fighter guy?
Poe Dameron.
Poe. I wish that there was like just like a really quick quip about how his X-Wing was like really specially outfit or something, or there was some reason why it was so cool. I wish there was a quip about that, because he seems like really unreasonably fucking strong. And like it's hard to get a scope of like how powerful the First Order is when like a single like X-Wing is like closing in on these dreadnoughts and like just blowing up all their turrets and shit with like no reason given other than I guess he's a pretty good pilot.
I guess in the first ones, didn't they go into Anakin being like an amazing pilot and everything? So
sure, but like even so, like I don't know if there's ever a point where Luke is literally like single-handedly taking on a massive ship like that and like fighting and killing I don't know. I mean, I guess he does like his little Death Star run, but even that.
But he needed Han Solo for that, right?
Yeah, and then he had like other fighters around him and whatnot. Like, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to. Oh yeah, anything else on that?
Well, their justification for that was the comedy bit.
Which comedy
where it's
bit?
like, oh, he's, I'm on hold.
Oh yeah, because
that was their justification. It's like, oh, then he got too close for the ship's. He got too close for the ship's cannons to fire on him. Now we got to let the TIE fighters out to kill him.
Yeah. Also,
I didn't hate that part.
Yeah, no, that was okay. But
comedy, but yeah.
So this is like a thing. Like, I'm pretty sure this applies in real life. I know this applies in like video games like Eve. It kind of bothers me that you have these like $quadrillion planet-sized fucking ships, and then like you have like 12 TIE fighters to defend them. I feel like a ship like this should be outfitted with hundreds and hundreds of like accompanying fighters. It feels really weird that like this massive fucking thing has literally like 8 TIE fighters protecting it. That seems really, really stupid. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, this is just like minor plot things. Also, like, a single bomber made it and blew up the entire ship. I mean, yes, I guess. Just it's a minor meme, but
there's a lot of these. If you want to go through all of them, we can.
I mean, like, I'm trying to just hit on like the main ones. Moving forward a little bit. I don't know if I'm skipping anything. Leia like flying through space.
That was like what I was just like, what? Like, it's
pretty terrible.
I know what the point. Okay.
It never came back, right?
Yeah, I mean, Saiyans can survive in space. I don't know if that was a callback to DBZ or something. Or I'm sorry, Super Saiyans. Super Saiyans can survive in space. You have to be a Super Saiyan to survive in space. So I don't know if that was supposed to be like a callback to like Dragon Ball Z, but like that was really weird. It
was also like totally unnecessary.
Yeah, like why couldn't she have just not been on the bridge?
Or you just have her just get injured or something like that. You can get her injured in the ship, getting destroyed.
Yeah, and not her using the Force.
Ridiculous moment.
Yeah, I just thought that they could not have that scene at all either.
Yeah. Moving forward, the whole side plot on that planet just seemed
it was like Game of Thrones, where it's like we're gonna
just like so like we're in the actually honestly, and like your writers, I feel like they could have contrived a better plot device for the ship than like we're like, so this massive fucking fleet is approaching. However, we can't get in range of the cruiser that's barely out of range, and so we're just gonna chase it for like 24 hours. I don't know. That just seems kind of
Couldn't they have light speed ahead a little bit?
Yeah, you can't light speed ship ahead. You don't have any kind of firepower that has farther range. You don't have stronger ships like cruisers that could come out that are around the same size. Like, it just seems like you've got so much force that to sit there like on the edge of the range and for 24 hours, like
it felt like It felt like the First Order wasn't like powerful at all. I don't know. It felt like they were
that
on
was always the
same level.
The impression that I had was that like the First Order is just kind of shit, I guess. But then you're supposed to get this impression that they're all powerful. But like, look when they go down to, were they on Hoth? Was that the planet, or was it a different?
It was different.
Okay. When they go down to the snow planet, and you're like, oh shit, like this is gonna be some big ass shit. They've got like 8 of those big walkers, and like that's it. I thought that they were gonna have like a massive fucking like Lord of the Rings tier fucking army or something. Not literally like 8 walker dudes.
I mean, I guess that's fine. I don't know. I guess that.
What was the point of the planet having salt on it? Was it just to set up the nice red shots, or?
It's probably just a meme. I don't know. Another.
God damn it, memes. And
I thought the red shots looked really well.
Yeah, they
really
looked. The shots on the planet looked nice,
awesome.
but like, what was the point of it having salt there? Like,
I think it's just it.
Okay,
well,
so
yeah, like
please, if you say something in chat, you need to justify it with lines from the movie. So Protobank said the First Order is a small remnant force left over from the Empire. I'm pretty sure that literally within this film, they said that the First Order was on the verge of taking over. Like within, didn't Leia say that, or not Leia? Didn't Rey say that within a week they would take over all the rest of the galaxy? That they were like close to having every major system.
I don't remember that quote.
I'm pretty sure.
She says something like that.
I feel like she literally said that to Luke, that like within a week or two that the First Order would own like every major system. I'm pretty sure they said that. So I don't think
she said something like that.
I don't think the First Order is like some small little remnants or whatever. I think they're a massive space force.
Well, it's not well. I would think it seems like it's not well defined. Yeah, because you're bringing up points that are at odds. This is the fucking leader's fleet, and there's like 6 of these Star Destroyers.
Yeah, so that whole contrived scene, I felt like they could have contrived a way better to give them some time. I don't know.
Did we talk about going to the planet at all?
Well,
like,
that's the thing. Yeah, like that whole side meme scene.
I felt like it was a big waste of time, and if I would have went to the bathroom, I would have probably felt better about the movie.
Yeah, I just don't know how I felt about that whole side plot.
That's something I think they could have contrived something better for. Like,
Rose the little Chinese chick or whatever?
Yeah.
I didn't like that character at all. I think it shouldn't have. She didn't. I don't know.
I'm kind of okay with their like slow moving vehicles just out of range, but it's like we need to go down to this casino planet to find a hacker and then go back to the Star Destroyer.
Yeah, that's what I mean when I say like contrived. That's not
that they could contrive something. That cannot be the best thing you guys could have thought of.
And Mauve or whatever couldn't come to help because she was doing some like random shit. They had to like go do. I don't know.
Wait, Mauve? Who's that?
Remember the girl that they talked to, and they're like, "Could you do this?" She was like, "Yeah, but I'm busy like settling a dispute or whatever. Go get."
Oh
this
yeah,
guy.
They just kind of like memely brought her into the movie for some reason.
Just for no reason. Yeah.
And then Mauve is this is something I didn't like. Mauve is supposed to be a very intelligent character, full of wisdom that knows a lot. She was pretty confident that there was literally a single person in the galaxy that was capable of doing this hack, and it seems like they easily, by chance, ran into a random criminal that was able to do the hack. Like so. Was Mauve just wrong, or did the people get exceptionally lucky, or?
Yeah,
and then the whole B8, I don't remember his fucking name, the robot
BB-8.
dude.
Yeah, BB-8 was
just
way
doing
too
whatever
strong.
he could.
He like was killing like waves and waves of soldiers. Like I don't know how. Yeah, I think he was probably a little bit too powerful.
Yeah, like when they go around, they get locked in the jail, and like the hacker just like goes around the corner and finds 2 people like knocked out, and it was the droid that did it.
Yeah,
like,
no, it was like 3 or 4 like soldiers and shit. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Was the guy just in there like in like a drunk tank or whatever, just like chilling his drunk out before he wanted to leave? He just kind of laid there until.
Yeah, the discovering the whole prisoner thing. I think all of that was like really dumb. That part of the plot was really dumb. Yeah. Moving on to more serious plot things. I don't know anything about that the Snooki guy, and then he
Snoke.
Yeah, and then Snooki just died like in 2 seconds, and that seemed like really dumb.
He seemed like really powerful too. I don't know.
I guess he was supposed to be. Yeah.
He felt.
I kind of like the subversion of your expectations there, but like this character being so important and being completely undeveloped Like,
you don't know anything about him at all. Yeah,
and his existence doesn't make any sense either. There's this all-powerful Jedi that just came around.
Well, I don't think that's so bad as long as he serves a purpose. But like, because for instance, I could be wrong, but I don't think you know anything about the Emperor in Star Wars, right?
Well, yeah, but he's Emperor Palpatine.
Well, like you know a bit, I think.
No, I don't think you
know he served under Yoda, and then you know.
Wait, did Palpatine serve under Yoda?
Didn't. No,
yeah, he was Chancellor Palpatine in the first 3 movies.
No, yeah. But I'm talking about 4, 5, and 6. Before we see him in the first 3 movies, and just 4, 5, and 6, you don't really learn anything about him.
Oh no,
right?
I was talking about learning things in the prequels.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just talking about in the 4, 5, and 6. You don't really learn anything, and then he dies at the end. But I think his death serves an important purpose for the development of Darth Vader. So I think that's
sure.
Okay.
But where is Snoke during 4, 5, and 6? Are you telling me in the 20 years between 6 and 7, this guy just appeared?
I mean, I'm okay with that just because, like somebody brought up, like, you literally don't even know he's Palpatine in episodes 4, 5, and 6. He's just the Emperor. I'm okay with him being there, Snoke being a really powerful dude, as long as he serves some purpose, but it's just, his death didn't really mean anything. It was really uneventful.
Sure. As I said, I like the subversion of expectation there. Like, you don't expect that to happen.
Well, but like, that's not a good reason to do anything. That's like a death grips argument. Like, if you're going to subvert expectations, you have to have a specific reason for doing so. Otherwise, you're just being edgy, I think.
Sure. Like in
Game of Thrones, when your expectation is subverted about main characters, the purpose is to show consequence for your actions, which makes sense. It's not like people just randomly die in Game of Thrones. The meme is that, like, well, any character can die. Not really. They generally have to earn their death, usually. I'm trying to think. I don't know if there were any undeserved deaths in Game of Thrones. It seems like most of the characters, through their own actions and imperfections, earned their deaths.
Sure. I guess my point is I'm okay with it happening. I just wish there was some development to that character at all.
So, like, the big problem, and this is like my huge problem with where the Star Wars memes are at right now, is that it seems like all conventional character arcing or character development has just been totally abandoned. We just don't care about that anymore. Characters just do things and they become really strong and they finish arcs that were never started and just have no purpose or anything. And that's like, I think that's actually the biggest detracting thing from the film. Like the Rilo Kylo dude, like turning on the fucking Snooki for like no fucking reason. Like, we don't really get any of that. That's actually really disappointing to me and really frustrating, because it seems like there's a lot of development between those two characters, but that we just don't get it. Like, this was a 2.5 hour movie and we didn't get any real development of Rey or Rilo Kylo. Why?
Kylo Ren. Can you not mispronounce the name?
I feel like you got a little bit of Kylo.
A little bit, but like when she showed up on the ship and he was like right there, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess we're climaxing on this like encounter real fucking quick, like. Oh,
I didn't. Yeah.
That was like.
I thought she was about to do some like op shit and like go find him and.
Yeah, that's what or they would have an encounter or something, but like something that really irritated me that actually made the first of this trilogy make a lot of sense is when you got the impression that Rilo was actually really torn on killing Han. That made the later part of the last movie make a lot of sense, why he was unable to defeat Rey and the Finn guy in combat and whatnot, like that being torn against himself, because it seemed like in the first movie, it seemed like him killing his father was him solidifying his path on the dark side. I didn't know that there was still like more character conflict within him. I didn't get that at all in the first movie, but then in this movie they just kind of bring it up in a comment and it's like, oh, well, I guess that makes the other stuff make more sense. It would have been nice to have shown that on screen before. I
don't know. I feel like they say plenty of times that he's conflicted. Well,
I don't think they say it at the end of the first movie. They do in this movie. They bring it up a lot. But it seemed like at the end of the first movie, it seemed like the narrative was that Kylo might be conflicted. He might be conflicted. He might be conflicted. And then his father shows up, and that's where we test the resolve of the character. Like, are you going to make a choice? And then he kills his father and makes the choice. I am part of the dark side. And then the conflict is resolved, and now we have like our new antagonist, or like a permanent antagonist. Not like
I don't know.
Killing my father, but this is still like an unresolved question. Like, it just kind of makes Han's death like kind of meaningless, I feel.
Well, at the start of the movie, he fails to kill his mother. Like,
Well, yeah, no, I'm just talking last. I'm just talking last movie. Only last movie.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm saying that at the end of the last movie, he seemed like he was resolved to be a dark side character. I didn't see. I don't
felt
think
like we were done with it.
Past Han's death, I don't think there was anything that Kylo did that made you feel like, okay, well, he still has conflict. He seemed very resolute past that initial thing. But now,
I'm going to be honest, that's not how I saw it. But
what gave you an indication? What indicated that he was so conflicted?
I see Kylo Ren as like an apology for Anakin Skywalker in the prequels.
Okay, well, no, but like within the film, in the first one.
I see what you're saying, but I see what you're saying, but that's just not how it's hard for me to. I don't have a reason to argue with you this on you.
Then don't, Kyle.
If you're gonna say that he didn't earn it or they didn't show it and they should have showed it, I would agree with you.
I don't disagree with you from like if we back up and try to find like intentions of the writer, but I'm looking for stuff that needs to be shown on screen. That's my critique. Is that like obviously it was conflicted, but that I think that should have been shown or conveyed in some way, you know?
And I think that's a fair critique, but as I said, I just didn't feel. I felt like, I don't know. That's just how I felt, and I can't argue with you on that critique.
Yeah.
But I felt like that was going to be a continuing theme, is that this kid is fucking unstable.
Yeah.
But as I said, if you're going to argue that they didn't show that well enough, I could agree with you there. Yeah. That was just me kind of making a guess and being right.
Yeah. Anyway, the Rey. Yeah. She just. I don't know. Just her character is just too godlike, I think. It's just like after like the Snoke death was just kind of silly, and then after they kill Snoke, like it makes sense why Rilo can fight and kill all the guards, but I don't know how Rey is able to take on the elite guards. She still has had absolutely no training at all. Like no formal training whatsoever. Also, here's a question. What were the 3 lessons that Luke was going to train? Did he ever name the 3rd lesson?
And what was the second? Because
I forgot the second. The first one was that the Force is between all things.
There was a point where he said, like, this is lesson number 2.
Yeah, I remember him saying that, but I don't remember what it was.
I don't remember.
But did he ever say this is the 3rd lesson?
I don't remember. I don't remember him ever saying that. So I don't know.
Oh wait, was I naming the 2nd lesson? No, I thought the 3rd lesson was failure.
Then what was the first lesson if he named the 2nd lesson?
No, I thought that was the first. I thought the first one was that the Force is in all things.
The first one was the Force is in all things. Yeah, right?
Yeah, the first one was when when she reaches out and then he tickles her hand with the fucking leaf because we have to have comedy, and then she's like, "No, you're supposed to reach out with your feelings, not with your."
Oh, was the second the history of the Jedi?
The second was that Jedi failed because of hubris. Oh, the second one was it was the history. The second one was learning that all Jedis are hypocrites and blah blah blah. I don't know what the 3rd one was. I'm pretty sure there was no 3rd lesson.
I thought the second one was pretty cool.
Sure, I guess. Yeah. But there was just no 3rd one. It seemed like the rule of 3. I feel like the 3rd one was. I feel like that was kind of a meme or something. Did it feel like the whole casino act was a waste of time? Yeah, it seemed like
waste of time.
The problem is that it started to also get like, I'm sorry, but it got a little bit cringeworthy, creepy, or cringeworthy, preachy, like with the whole like slaves, and then the Rose Girl's like, well, I used to be a slave, and then they torture animals, and all the people here are arms dealers, and it's like, oh, okay, I get it, they're all really, and then like it got even more cringy when the guy on the ship was like, oh look, he sells X-Fighters too. There's evil on both sides. Like, okay, well. That's like a really deep theme, and I'm willing to bet the theme or the film is not going to devote any time whatsoever to discussing this. Why even bring this up? Like, this is really inappropriate to even mention. You're not going to give anywhere near enough time to these things.
Yeah, that whole second like planet scene, I don't know. That the casino shit felt like a big waste of time.
What did you think about the weird mirror scene that Rey had? I'm not sure what the point of that was. Do you know?
It felt like there was, I don't know. It felt like something big was supposed to happen. I thought they said like something huge up, but it kind of just tapered down into her being lonely and then talking to Kylo more. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. My biggest gripe is that the movie tries to have big dramatic payoffs that it doesn't earn. Yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying, is like that it seems so funny that the film mentions failure so much, but like the whole point of the hero's journey and every classical kind of narrative is that the main character needs to fail in order to earn the victory. Like, this is a really fundamental, like, I imagine like a year 1, week 1 thing you would learn like in a film writing class. The characters have to fail to really feel like they earn their victories.
Or at least struggle.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Yeah, struggle through failure or struggle in some ways. But like Rey just kind of shows up everywhere and just does everything. Rilo kills the dude, kills Snooki for like no fucking reason. Can you say
Kylo Ren for me?
Like Sunray fucking can fight all the guards at the end with no reason Sunray? Or whatever. And she can fight Luke in like a combat thing and like beat him with a lightsaber. It just seems like everybody just does things like I don't know. I feel like the writers have a really hard time connecting anything and giving any good dramatic payoff to anything.
Would you have felt better? I think I would have felt better if we would have got rid of the casino shit and then added more time, like devoted to
Rey and Kylo Rilo. Yeah.
Or even that, I guess. I don't know.
For sure. 100%.
I felt like her, like, maybe learning how to fight would have been a cool thing, because that would have set up later on.
Yeah, it would have at least given her the right to be a really good fighter. But also, and maybe this will be addressed in the third film, why do we care about Rey? Why is she so strong with the Force? That's something we've just never gotten an explanation for. I thought we were going to learn that her parents were, I thought it was going to be something like a Luke and Leia, like some incest baby crazy shit or something. But like, we don't have any reason to believe why she should be so special with the Force. And she's obviously naturally attuned to it, but why?
I think they're just setting up that like anybody can be like a hero or whatever, right?
Well, I guess, but like we're 2 movies into a 3-movie trilogy, like.
Yeah. By the way, can you just say Kylo Ren for me?
Kylo.
Just so I know this.
He said it, guys.
Rilo Ken?
Yeah, that was.
God damn it.
You got it.
Every time, man. I know you like when you don't.
Wait,
like,
did the boy at the end of the movie use the Force to grab the broom?
Yep, he did. He didn't see that?
Oh, no, I didn't notice. I must have gotten bored.
He totally used the Force to grab the broom.
Oh, so it's like everybody in the universe just going to get the Force now? That shit's going to be crazy.
Well, I don't think everybody's getting the Force, but I think they're trying to set up that like there are Force-sensitive people who aren't like Luke and Leia or whatever. I'm not sure.
Do you think like Luke dying like released? Like, was he like hogging a punch of Force that needed to be released?
He had it all. Does Leia need to die?
The Force is between all things. Didn't you learn anything?
Why is it that Luke showed up? Why did Luke show up with the hologram for Rilo Ken when fucking he died right after anyway? Shouldn't he have just really gone to like show off how dank his fucking shit was?
I thought that was a cool scene, but it didn't have much of like a reason. So.
As I said when we talked about it at the end of the movie, that is a Dragon Ball Z moment. There is a big giant explosion.
Well, but not really.
Cloud of smoke.
But
there is a well,
because you expect him to be real, like to show off all his powers.
You do expect him to be real, but it's like, oh, he's still there after the giant explosion. Like, that is a Dragon Ball Z moment. That is.
And also, like, I feel like there was a setup for Luke to travel that never happened. I feel like when you saw the X-wing in the water, right?
Mm-hmm. No,
that's why I thought he got back. I thought they were calling to that. That's how he got there, as his X-wing in the water.
Yeah, I thought we were going to get him raising it out of the water again. That was going to be like his way of reconnecting to the Force.
I was thinking he like stowed away on the Falcon or something like that.
I thought like when you saw that X-wing in the water, I was like, I would have bet money right there that like, oh, this is 100% going to be risen out of the water. Either Rey is going to do it.
Did he need to?
I'm not sure.
Or is that just fan shit?
I don't know.
Yes.
Why he couldn't have just been a voice in Luke's head or something. I don't know.
I don't need more Yoda talk. I don't need no backward sentences.
I didn't like hate it. It just felt out of place, and I don't know.
Because he came back at the end of Return of the Jedi, so why not?
Is it bad to say that I didn't believe like Mark Hamill's lines as like Luke? I don't know why. That sounds weird to say, but I don't know.
Maybe we've missed like so much character development of Luke. We didn't get any of his story at all. Fuck, maybe instead of Rogue One, they should have made like a between episodes 6 and 7, like what Luke was doing all the time.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll get to that eventually.
That actually would have been so amazing, because then this movie would have been so much better. Maybe we would have gotten way more backstory of Rilo Ken and the Rey girl.
I thought the Kylo shit with Luke was pretty cool. How that kind of arced out.
No, that was an okay moment. I just wish there was more
of it. Yeah. See the other Padawan, see him training or something. Do like a little
background.
bit of backstory. Yeah.
Well, he said he also escaped with some of the Padawans.
Yeah, where the fuck are they? I don't know. Didn't he have like some knights?
He said he escaped with some of them and then he killed the rest.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this. Oh, yeah. When Rey is like going right into the darkness or whatever, and then like Luke is like, "Oh, this is really bad," and then the whole thing is never addressed again. I guess even that whole and then back to the mirror scene. I don't know what the fuck the purpose was of any of that. I don't know. Mark
Hamill hated Luke in The Last Jedi. He probably wasn't into it. Can you link something about that?
I heard something about that.
Did you really?
I know I saw an article. It was one of those you see the headline but you don't read the article.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like everybody in media today, Kyle.
Here I am, just propagating rumors.
If you're an iconic character like that, do you have any sway with like the shit? Can you just say no, I'm not doing it unless like this character's done to what I think or whatever? No,
I mean,
No
I doubt you have
way.
much sway. He's just Mark
They
Hamill.
will. They'll just write you out if they'll get you on board,
Or they'll just get somebody else to play him. Is what they would do. I mean, Mark Hamill doesn't look anything like the original Luke anyway, right?
Yeah.
What was the point of the Knights of Ren when they were never explained or shown? Wait, what were the Knights of Ren?
They showed him in the first movie. It's the Padawans that he took from Luke or whatever.
Oh, is that it? Okay.
Oh, and they're just never shown. I still don't think like Rey being able to fight and kill like that elite guard of Snoke at the end was like really fucking stupid. I don't know. She's just I guess.
Whatever. I'll just live. I guess I just have to live with you.
That upsets
you and like Mr. Mediocre and Snooki and Rilo Kylo and Sunshine Ray and goddamn. It's like the most immature thing you do, but whatever.
I'm sorry, Kylo.
I take offense to that.
Oh yeah, they show him for one frame in the first movie.
In the first movie?
And they never show him again. Yeah, I don't know.
Nice.
Doesn't make sense. I just feel like I'm gonna be really disappointed the third movie. I don't think anything's gonna be like.
Well, you
really
just have to
wrapped up.
leverage or set your expectations or whatever.
And I'm just gonna be like really disappointed because nothing's gonna be like clear or whatever. They're just like making a lot of questions and they're not giving any answers. Kind of like who the fuck's Snoke, and then I guess I don't really care about Rey anymore. Her parents.
Yeah. I thought that the Force Awakens, the one before this, I would say is easily a better film than this. Because I would say that part one of a 3-part trilogy can leave things open-ended. That's fine. But in this movie, I would have expected more answers and less questions.
It should close some doors, I think.
Yeah. Like
I thought we were gonna close the Snoke door in this movie, but I guess that door is just gonna be forgotten.
Well, and I hated that whole girl. God, that Rose chick.
Rose.
Oh.
I thought that Finn. I thought he was gonna sacrifice himself by like throwing his ship into the cannon.
That's what I thought.
And then like,
Well, yeah, I didn't
but like
understand
even if that was
either.
his plan, why would she crash into his ship to stop him from doing that? Like, oh, I saved you, and then all the rebels die. Yay! Like, what? I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was very much. I think you hit it on the head with your first comment. It's very much. It's enjoyable until you think about it.
Yeah, just don't look too close. It reminds me of you said you hadn't seen this, so I couldn't make the comparison to you, but it reminds me a lot of The Dark Knight Rises, the last of the 3 of Nolan's Batmans, where it's like a pretty good movie. But when you start asking questions, things come apart very fucking quickly.
Because it was a fun movie to watch. Like
Yeah.
I love this. I love the lightsaber fights in that
Yeah.
movie.
A little long, but pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
All the space fighting battles were like really cool, I think too.
Yeah, like it was presented really well, but yeah, it's just don't think about it too much.
Why couldn't they? Oh, this is another minor plot meme. There's a lot of these minor plot memes.
Oh,
Why
yeah.
couldn't they just tell Poe? Why couldn't she just say, "Oh, don't worry, the escape pods will work fine. We've got cloaking devices." Why not just say that? Instead of like her not saying that literally leads to a fucking mutiny on the ship. Like what the fuck?
Is that what it was?
Well, her just being overly bitchy, like to him, like not telling him anything.
No,
I
think that she could have. I think her being overly bitchy is fine because apparently in previous encounters she'd earned that because she was a really skilled leader. I just don't know why she would have like led him on to make him think that they were all going to die in escape cruise. It's like why wouldn't she just say like, hey, yeah, like by the way, it's okay,
why doesn't
dude.
he know that?
Well, I don't know because fucking whatever. Yeah. Yeah, her keeping the plan super secret was really autistic and destroyed 90% of the rebellion's forces. Yeah, probably, yeah. I like how that is very strange that was a massive consequence that never got addressed. And I feel like it's not, I will put money on it right now, it won't be addressed in the third movie. That because Poe made a secret plan and got 3 people on that ship, they lost most of the surviving rebels, were killed because that guy was a traitor. The guy that hacked into the doors was a traitor and told them about the cloaking devices.
Yeah, he fucked up big time.
I'm not even sure how the Mass Tracker knew that they were escaping via transport ships. I don't think that's ever even explained. I'm not sure. Maybe they offhand.
Was it told on the ship?
Well, because he never got to the main ship. Remember?
Well, no, I thought they told him on like the like.
Well,
the small
no, because
ship
how would
before
they
went in? But I don't even remember.
How would they even know?
I have no idea.
Yeah, they wouldn't know because they think the plan is to fucking go into hyperspace or like to shut off the tracking thing and then go into hyperspace.
Yeah.
Before they can turn back on. And
It was said over radio waves. Oh, maybe he heard it on radio waves along the way. But like that's a really big meme. Like they single-handedly caused like the most of the rebel dudes to die. Like I don't know, that's a pretty big meme. I also like how for some reason it's really important that literally like I guess like 30 people from the rebel forces are alive now. They're all on the Millennium Falcon. Like that's everybody. That's okay. The spark. Yeah.
We'll light the rebellion. It's okay. All the important people lived. You know.
Phasma was so useless in both movies. Oh yeah, I also don't know why Finn is all this is like I said, I think the principal failing of this entire series is just failed character arcs. Why is Finn able to fight so well?
Because he was a stormtrooper?
No, but he was like a shit stormtrooper.
He was a janitor.
Yeah, they even said it. They routed him several times, yeah.
I don't understand how he knows like so much. I know that he was stationed on that one base, but how the fuck does he know about like Snoke's ship? Was he a janitor here too, randomly?
Well, that like the Death Star shit made sense because he's like, I was a janitor on that Death Star, so sure, maybe you can know about that. But he seems like he knows everything about everything. And then I don't know why he's good at fighting, and he's a really good pilot too because he pilots that shit at the end. It just seems like they know everything, even though he's just a janitor dude. And he was able to kill the lady in 1v1 combat, the Phasma lady who was like the leader of the troops. Why?
He was able to take a punch, man. She thought he was down.
Was Phasma even like I don't know. I don't know.
She was like the leader girl of like the
yeah,
but I don't know why she mattered though.
I don't know.
No, yeah.
I feel like that character could have just been axed, but it's whatever.
She wasn't important.
In the book, it's revealed he was only a janitor because he acted up. He was actually like top 4 stormtroopers in the academy. Okay. Oh, too bad the books don't fucking matter here.
Isn't that like what? A line of adding or whatever? Like, why were you a janitor? Oh, well, I fucked up and...
Yeah, or they could have even had a show where like on his armor he's got like an elite badge or some shit. I don't know.
You're right. That's a single line of dialogue. That's just like Yeah, you know, I had all this promise, but then I fucked up, and now I'm a janitor.
Did you feel the movie was a bit heavy on quips? Felt a lot like a Marvel movie type to me. Yeah, it seems like Marvel has kind of set the standard for like you have to have quips and jokes all the time, like in your movies. This one had quite a few of them, yeah.
As I said, more than the last one.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I didn't hate it, but I think you could have went without like 5 or 6 of them. What were the animals there for at the end? Was there any like real reason besides
the foxes?
And they got out. Yeah.
Well, they followed the foxes out.
But why did the foxes come in?
Because they were spooked.
Oh, all right.
I don't know. It's an indoor area, so I guess the cave. That's a guess.
They wanted out after, I guess. Fuck.
They were spooked, and then they got even more spooked. So spook it on through.
Nah, this guy said it correctly. Tailgater. They sell toys. Yep. There it was.
Good call.
Wait, what was a good call?
They sell toys. That's the answer.
Oh, of what?
Like the foxes and like
the animals? Maybe. I don't know. If
Let's see. I'm checking this out. Can I get one of those foxes?
You know you can.
What's this? Star Wars 8?
Huh.
Shop. We're clicking shopping.
Hi, chat. Hi, Destiny. Ooh.
Not yet.
Not yet. There will be like a stuffed animal of like Chewie's little friend, though.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think
there's also
that was like okay.
I'll accept like one of these per movie. These Deus Ex Machina, like the ship shows up at the perfect time or the perfect escape, but like it happened way too much this movie, where like a ship cuts through a thing going light speed in order to perfectly save somebody, or a master hacker just happens to be in the same cell to perfectly save you, or the ship comes up to perfectly save you, or you stumble into the animal den to perfectly save you. Like that shit was happening, or in that thing, like there's the one transport at the end to perfectly save you. Like that was a little bit too memey.
What was that quote from the guy who directed that Game of Thrones episode? That was like just really retarded. That like he directed like it was the episode with them stuck on the island in the middle of the river, and he had the director of that episode had some really stupid quote.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's what I can't remember what that was, but it's what it reminded me of. Where it's just like focus on the visual, don't think about it too hard. Was what it seemed like.
Maybe, yeah.
It's like don't think about it. Yeah.
Did you all notice at the end of the movie that the books were in the tree that got burned were stowed away in the Falcon? I was gonna ask if those were the books, but I didn't understand like how they got there. I guess.
Well, she might have taken them when she left. I don't know.
But why? Didn't we have the whole Yoda thing just to say like we don't need the books anymore or whatever? It's
Maybe she thought she didn't need the books because she loves knowledge.
It's fucking
Well, she obviously stole them before Yoda made the lightning on the tree.
Yeah.
You know.
All right. Well, any final thoughts? Final memes?
5 out of 10.
I'll give it a solid 6 out of 10. How did Rey get from the throne room to the Falcon? Oh, that's a good question. How did she get from the throne room?
She took Snoke's escape pod.
Oh.
There's a line about that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, there was. She took his private ship.
Hey, if we get food tomorrow, can we get it at like a decent time? Like,
Yeah, like 9 or 10 for sure at the latest.
No, wait, they close at 10.
Oh, okay. We'll go. How about
see, here's the problem.
How about 8 o'clock, Kyle? Is that too late for you?
Here's the problem.
What?
There are fights tomorrow.
Oh my god.
Oh,
What
who's
time?
fighting? UFC?
I need to see Robbie Lawler versus Dos Anjos. That is a good fight.
What time?
Aren't the fights usually like at 10 though? So if we go at 8?
This is on Fox, regular Fox, not on like Fox Sports 1. So the main card starts at 7, which is a problem. It probably ends at 9. Or does it? Maybe it ends at 10. No, it's got to end at 9. It's got to be 7 to 9 because there's only 4 fights on the main card. But I need to see Mike Perry because that dude is fucking crazy. What time does it close? I think it closes at 10.
Yeah, just tell me what time works for you, Kyle.
So I'm down to go early or I'm down to go late, but
So when is this fight?
Saturday. They're open till 10:30. If you want to go like at like 9, or if you want to go like 9,
9 sounds
well,
good.
I would like 9:15 probably,
That's fine, yeah.
and just go late. I'm down with that. Honestly, though, I'm worried for Robbie Lawler's health. That man has been in way too many wars, but he is up there. He's one of my favorite fighters of all time. DVR it, you fuck? Dude, I gotta watch this with people, okay? I got friends. We watch fights. This is the Saturday night thing. Okay?
Wait, so what time is this fight? Sorry.
We're gonna go eat at 9:15.
Yeah, we're just go to 9:15. We'll just go after the fights, and then they're open till 10:30, and we'll just be like the last ones in there, and they can kick us out. But yeah, well, the main card starts at 7 o'clock, and there's 4 fights in the main card, so there's probably like close to one every half hour. But the first 3 fights are 15 minutes max, and the last one's 25 minutes max. Is there anything? Undercard's not bad either, too.
All right, I'm going to bed. Good luck.
All right, have fun.
Later.
All right, Kyle.
Steven,
I'll see you tomorrow, okay?
I will see you tomorrow.
Be careful, buddy.
Enjoy.
What, would he even get fired for it? Because Trump doesn't want him digging around in his shit. Because Trump boy. Hey, what up? Oh, so you saw it. You just saw it?
I just saw it. I literally just got back from the theater.
Okay, because I've been shitting on it a lot. Let's agree on a couple of things, okay? It looked really good, right? Do you agree with that? That it looked
really.
it looked
In what sense?
phenomenal. I thought some of the shots are really cool on that one planet. I thought there were a lot of really cool shots there. The ship getting split in half, obviously. That's like one of the coolest things I've ever seen in any space-related thing ever. I thought all of the space fights looked really good. There's a really stark like color palette in this movie. I thought the red on the white looked really cool on that planet at the end. Yeah, I don't know. I thought that cinematographically.
The visuals.
Yeah, that. I thought
you like the visuals.
Yeah, the visuals I thought were really cool all over the place. I thought looked really good.
Okay.
The music was cool, I guess. Whew, yeah. And then basically my takeaway from this movie was that it was a pretty good movie as long as you don't look too closely, but as soon as you start looking closer, like everything falls apart.
Oh man, I think that the movie was complete and utter dog shit. And I guess my biggest frustration with it is like the sort of bastardization of the actual franchise.
What do you mean by that?
That makes me sound like a huge fucking nerd. Well,
Yeah,
yeah, I don't care. Like it made the rest of okay. So first of all, the whole movie didn't really need to happen. I guess we can just like start there. But as it did happen, it just sort of served a purpose to fuck with the sort of legend of Luke Skywalker that we had from the original 3, right? So like what I think I mean is like there are so many inconsistencies with the character that it makes me feel like Star Wars has become fucking Marvel. Everything has become fucking Marvel. Disney owns the universe.
Yeah, we were kind of talking about the relationships.
Yeah,
that there was. I felt like I was watching the Avengers, kind of, and I was waiting for Tony Stark to come in and like make a quip at some point, like on the corner of the screen. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels so inauthentic to what Star Wars is, right? Which is like this like kind of epic that's based off of Joseph Campbell's The Hero's Journey, right? Which like the whole reason why Lucas crafted this narrative for Star Wars was the hero's journey. You have what? Are you familiar with that? Like the idea of like myth and
oh yeah, the hero's journey. It's the classic storytelling tale. I always hold this movie up to like when I try to explain this, I'll look to like The Matrix. I think is a perfect example of that.
This particular movie, or
no,
I movies in general.
Well, movies in general. I think The Matrix works really good. Like
yeah, it does
because like so one of the most important parts of it, this is what I talk about as like the main failure of Star Wars right now, is that that narrative arc of the character failing, and then coming up against something that was established as impossible, and then overcoming because of what they've gone through, right? So in The Matrix, when Neo turns around in that subway, when everybody tells him to run, because you can't beat an agent, they've never been beaten ever, right? When he turns around and fights, that's like, oh, he's like doing it, right? But that moment only has so much payoff because up till that point, excluding like the Morpheus rescue, he failed the jump when he came in. He wasn't the best at hand-to-hand combat. Morpheus could still beat him. The Oracle told him that he wasn't going to be the one, and he didn't believe in himself in being the one. Like you had he'd gone over all of this shit. In the new Star Wars movies, just nobody really fails at anything. There's not any development of any of the characters at all. Go ahead.
Rey is such. I'm sorry for like people in chat. Wait, no, I'm not sorry. Rey is such a terrible character.
Yeah,
she's such an awful character. I get what they're trying to do with like women's empowerment, and I think that
I don't want to like blame it on women's empowerment. I just think it's a shit character. Even if it was a guy, it would be a shit character.
Yeah, you're right.
They're just giving it, and yeah, you know, it might even be that maybe that they don't want to show a woman failing at something, which actually I think hurts even more. There's a funny odd comment. I think that if you want to show women as more empowered, I feel like you need more women villains. That's kind of a random thing that I never really thought about.
Well,
you can't really name any strong women villains outside of like the Tarantino universe. Sorry, go ahead.
Did you like Wonder Woman? Did you watch it?
It was a standard hero movie. It was okay. Yeah, it wasn't horrible. It wasn't like amazing, but it was fine. Okay.
I thought Wonder Woman was a pretty good movie.
Yeah,
and
it's like standard like hero Marvel. Marvel doesn't. Yeah. I don't think Marvel really fucks their movies up ever. Like I like the Avengers
because they don't take risks.
Exactly, they play everything very safe.
Yeah, and I think that up until Wonder Woman like introduced the love interest thing, where I think that like it still leaned too heavily on Chris Pine. I don't remember his character's name. Like they still had to like attach her to someone like a male. Like I think that was like as close as it gets. But like Rey is just all around. Just going back to Star Wars, just seems like such a shit character that earns nothing, never fails, is totally perfect, and like the whole idea of the hero's journey is about like confronting the darkness, right? Like and having your guides, like the great wizard and the person that like guides you through. Like,
what is a single difficult choice that Rey ever makes?
Yeah.
Like there's no answer to that. She never. Everything seems to always pan out perfectly for her. And if it was ever going to happen, I thought it was going to be here when she goes to get her training, but she didn't even get that. And like when you see like Rey like literally fighting the Royal Elite Guards at the end, like side by side with Kylo, like what the fuck? Like why is she so good at?
Or lifting the. I mean, she's doing things.
Oh
that
yeah,
people,
and like moving.
I guess like
yeah,
like moving like the entire rocks. Where it's like, I mean, Yoda had to focus on lifting a pillar, right, with all of his concentration. And this is the greatest Jedi of all time. This chick just throws rocks around like it's fucking nobody's business.
Yeah, or
like,
look at how much
inconsistencies.
Luke has to go through so much to be able to lift that his X-wing out of the. Oh no, wait, actually, I think Yoda does that, doesn't he? Or does Luke? Was Luke the one that finally does it?
Luke tries, but he fails.
And then
right?
Yoda
Back
does
to
it.
the whole myth.
Yeah.
Yoda,
Luke has to try so much to do it.
Really tries.
But and Rey is like a kid. I'm assuming the character is supposed to be written as early 20s, maybe late teens. She's a very young character, but it's like, yeah, I don't know.
And what's this shit with like now like Yoda as a Force ghost can summon lightning? Like, doesn't that trivialize the entire? Can't you just have an army of Jedi ghosts come back and fucking fuck up Palpatine or something?
Well, I understand what they were trying to do. I feel like he should have just been a voice in Luke's head, and then like lightning should have just struck, and you kind of get the idea. Like, okay, the Force is everywhere. Maybe Yoda kind of influenced it, but yeah, bringing him back as like a ghost, like Aragorn's like ghost army, and like Lord of the Rings or some shit. Like, I don't know. It's like really fucking weird. I don't know. I think Yoda had way too much screen time. It should have been like 1 or 2 lines. Like maybe just that one. There was like 1 or 2 lines he said near the end that was like really good. Like fail Kylo, you have fail Rey, you must not, or something. Like maybe like 1 or 2 lines like that. That would have been plenty. But him coming back for like a little like sitcom cameo, like I was watching an episode of Friends or something. Like I don't know. That was really. I felt like it just wasn't appropriate.
What are your thoughts on Kylo?
That's another character. He has the same problems as Rey. So like there are 2 huge problems. One is they actually made the first movie make a lot more sense, and I wish it would have been in the first movie. When I call him Snooki, sorry. When Snoke talks about how Kylo, I give these guys so many meme names, I forget their real names. When it's
his
Rilo.
name doesn't matter. He literally appeared for fucking 2 minutes and then died.
When Snoke talks to Rilo. It's Rilo, right? Rilo Ken? No, Kylo Ren. When Snoke talks to Kylo and tells him how his heart is divided against itself and that's why he's so weak, that actually made the ending of the first movie make perfect sense. Like, oh, so he was like internally conflicted. That's why he lost the fight to Rey and whatnot. Like, oh, that actually makes way more sense. But in the first movie, it feels like narratively, it feels like Kylo is conflicted amongst himself. Like you see that inner turmoil, and then that resolve will be tested. And it is when Han shows up, and then that's when he makes a decision. I'm killing my father. I'm going to become the dark side. I am the dark side. And then I thought like that was the resolution of that internal conflict, and then he's full on dark side. But then we find out in this next movie, oh, I guess he was still conflicted the whole time. What was the point of him even killing Han? Like for his character arc, it didn't do anything. Like he was still conflicted the whole time. Like what was the point, you know?
I think that with Kylo, at least this character has challenges, and like he is seen to fail, right? He has these like peak moments where he actually has some character development. Whereas like Rey is just like this perfect snowflake. Like Rey drives me like I can't watch another movie with Rey. Like it just drives me so crazy, this character. But like Kylo feels like he has a little bit more character development, but
kind of. But like there's still like major turns. Like I do not feel like Kylo turning against Snoke. I don't think that was justified. I don't think you could supplement text or scenes from this movie to show the internal turmoil from Kylo that would justify him turning on his master like that. I don't agree with that. I thought that was really dumb.
The whole thing with Snoopy, Snoke. Whatever that guy was, was so fucked up because they set him up to be like this
a god.
This trilogy villain, right? And then like to have that like stereotypical trope where he's like, I see the future, I see all. You're gonna have the lightsaber turn, and then like, God, there were so many fucking moments in there that I just feel like are. And I'm sorry, oh God, this is gonna sound so bad, but at least I'm not a representative of a huge company anymore, so I can say this. It felt like it just represents audiences. It entertains audiences that don't speak fucking English. Okay, it's like these like little moments and these little slapstick moments that like I know Marvel does this for a fact, right? They make their movies so that they sell better in China, so that like people that don't get the same like cultural references can actually like absorb it, right? And it just feels like these are. When you look at the reactions of people in the theater, everyone's like, oh, you know, he stabbed himself with his own lightsaber. That's so cool. And I'm like, oh God, I went to see the death of a fucking beautiful franchise.
Yeah.
Let's see. So Kylo,
it sucks because like the tone is correct in these two, versus the prequels. In the prequels, the tone was horribly off. The Force was midichlorians. It was all about extended as fuck lightsaber battles and weird fucking politics or whatever. The tone for this part of the trilogy, where it's space battles, it's rebels on the edge of extinction, the Force is a mystical thing, like that part is right. It's just that all the storytelling is fucked. It's so fucked.
Yeah, and the characters, right? So this combines for like this like total. There was so many like the other problem I have too. Let's get into the ex machinas, okay?
Oh no, I talked about this. Like I can handle one per thing.
Shit.
I can handle one per thing. I can handle like you remember the end of Aliens where Ripley like jumps off or whatever. Like Bishop shows up right at the end. Like I could take a moment like that. Like that's cool. But it's like. I can't even remember them all. There's when they go to like when they do that whole side planet adventure, which the entire thing probably shouldn't have happened in this movie. But it's like they stumble into the perfect guy in the jail to help them. They stumble into the perfect animal pit with the perfect animal that'll help them. The guy steals a ship and shows up at the end to help them. And then there's more like when they're in that hangar, that blast happens that saves Finn and Rose at the perfect time. Besides them, they have the perfect transport at the end that they're running to save them. That shit happens way too much.
Yeah, the ex machinas in this movie actually got like tiring. The little ice animals that like run to the perfect exit, and they know that there's an exit because Luke supposedly like walked in from some different place other than this is something else that is not good. So this isn't bad from a plot hole, but this is a narrative fuck up, okay? At the end of I'm gonna bring it up, okay? The third Matrix movie, okay? Remember, that was a real movie, okay? At the end of the third Matrix movie, remember when they're back in the temple? Yeah,
that was important that they established that, because this is humanity's absolute last stand. There is no place of retreat from this temple. This is everything. They either defend here or Neo saves them or it's all over. There is no retreat. Humanity is on the brink of extinction, or free humans are on the brink of extinction at that point, right? I felt, and I feel like there's another movie where there's an example of that. In Lord of the Rings. This happened at least once, maybe twice, where they're backed into a castle. There was one scene where who's the fairy guy? Aragorn. Yeah. Where they're backed into the castle and he's like, ride with me, right? Because they're backed in. Yeah, right?
And then they just come up with the fucking rams from nowhere.
Well, but I mean, like, you understand that, like, okay, well, they're backed into Helm's Deep. There is no escape. This is the end. This is it. It's all or nothing here, right? And then in this movie, they set up something similarly narratively, where it's like, okay, well, they closed the big door. They have the big door. There's no way in or out. Okay, I understand. This is the last stand. And then it's like later on, they're like, oh, well, Luke, walked in, and there is another way out. Like, okay. Oh, I guess like.
They so casually explain away like these. I guess that's like the whole like one of the huge problems of the movie, right? Is this consistent theme of like Snoke's is supposed to be a big deal. He just dies instantly. He's not a big deal, right? That poor character Phasma.
Oh,
whoever that character is.
Why is Finn? Everybody does this. The unearned victories. Why is Finn so good at fighting? He's had no like advanced super training. She's like the top dog, and he beats her in hand-to-hand combat. Why?
Yeah, why does he know everything?
He can use a lightsaber. Oh yeah, that too. I could buy him knowing the Starbase stuff because he worked on that. So sure, maybe he knows where stuff is. But apparently he's like a walking super intelligent. He mopped every room. I was actually a janitor in the control room when they were entering the codes, and I happened to have overheard the engineers like, what? Like I mopped the inside of the dreadnought. I know their their offensive capabilities. Like. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, the ultimate fucking janitor, dude. Like, he doesn't earn anything. He beats all of these people, beating people in a one-on-one. Like, I guess Luke at the end, right? He doesn't, when he's the illusion. The other huge problem was like, why does Luke die? I guess it's implied that Luke.
Because why didn't he just go there?
Well. I guess because he couldn't raise his X-Wing? I don't know, dude.
Oh, wait, no. That was another huge problem. That was a key foreshadowing. As soon as I saw... you could have bet me $1,000 in the theater right there. As soon as I saw Rey stumble across that X-Wing in the water, submerged, needing to be lifted out, that's going to get lifted out 100%. Either as part of Rey's training, or Luke, when Luke reconnects to the Force, one of those two things. It was those two things. Either as part of Rey's training, or because Luke had disconnected. Part of Luke coming back was going to be raising that X-Wing out of the water, and then flying to where he needed to be. I thought that he was actually going to show up at the end. I was actually waiting for the remember when the cannon, when all hope was lost and we needed like hope, and the cannon was going to crack the door open? I thought that Luke was going to show up and do like a callback to the Death Star run and like torpedo the inside of the cannon. I thought that's what was going to happen, but yeah, he just
that would be cool as fuck.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting for, because I thought that was good. As soon as like because his ship, the black dude's ship gets rammed off, and there's like everybody, all hope is lost, and and then I thought you were going to see the X-wing come down, and it would have been sick. And it could have been even sicker if the X-wing came down and they sent a bunch of TIE fighters after it, and then Rey shows up in the Millennium Falcon and blasts shit away. That would have been like there could have been like a cool scene there. But everything about like Luke shows up as a hologram so that he can say "see ya, kid" and not get killed, and then he dies immediately after. Like.
Yeah, he literally says, "See you later," and it's like, nope. Like, I think they were trying to set up like an Obi. Fuck, the whole thing is like, they want the audience to believe a certain thing, right? Like, now Luke's gonna die. He's going to follow the Obi-Wan thing.
That's what I thought. I thought that what I was waiting for was
just fucks with you.
Yeah, what I thought was Kylo was going to do this thing where he slashes him in the middle to kill him, and then he was going to turn back, and you were just going to see the cloak laying there, just like when Obi died, and that would have been perfect. That would have been exactly as I would expect. And he even said it. Luke even said it. Luke even says, "If you strike me down now in anger, or whatever, I'll become more powerful as some."
I'll be with you. Yeah. I'll be with you always.
Or I'll be with you always. Mm-hmm. I would, as soon as he opened his mouth, I thought he was going to repeat the Obi-Wan line. I thought he was going to say, "If you strike me down now, I'll become more powerful than you can imagine." And then Kylo would have driven the thing through him. He would have looked back, and you would have just seen the cloak floating there and then blow off. And it would be like, oh, okay, that's the perfect Luke death, right? And it also, and then we would have gotten the payoff earlier of like seeing like, oh wow, Luke actually is insanely powerful because he uses Force magic to deflect like all those blaster shots. Like, oh wow, he's like a huge fucking dude. Like it's like the Goku moment. He actually was awesome. Instead of just like, oh, he's a hologram, and then he died anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Like so I feel like the director doesn't want to give the audience like you could. I can imagine like the director. He's sitting in a fucking chair and he's like, that would just be too easy. It would be too easy to do the Obi-Wan thing. We're gonna give the audience something they're not gonna expect. What the twist? It's just gonna be this like, and it's gonna work out in that way. And the other thing that pissed me off was like, what is this deal between like the forced Rose and Finn love story? Okay, like those two met like fucking like 2 hours ago, and then she like falls in love with him, and like they have that kiss at the end while the door is like being blown open.
I just didn't like that whole character.
The whole thing was felt, what is this, Tinder? Like, holy shit. Her
character felt like so preachy. It was cringeworthy. Like when they went to the planet, she's like, "Look at these people. They're all rich on their wealth because of slavery and enslaving animals and hurting animals, enslaving kids and hurting kids." And it was like, okay, like, oh god, I get it. Like the preachy, like stop. And then they had that moment where they went on the ship later, and I think Finn was like, "These guys are bad. They sell weapons to the first order." And then
character with a stutter.
Yeah, well, and then the character with the stutter was like, "They don't only sell weapons to them; everybody buys weapons." And I was like, "Oh wow!" Like, this is a really deep theme. Why would you bring this up? This is so inappropriate. You're not going to address this in the film. Like the idea that neutral third parties exist to profit off of war on both sides, like a military-industrial complex that thrives off the misery of like the civilian. Like this is a huge theme. You can't just one-line that and then abandon. Like, why would you even bring that up? Like, fucking Christ, just say they're all rich off of fucking slavery or some shit. I thought that's what she was gonna say when she said, "You know what these guys all do? Look closely." I thought they were just gonna be slavers, because that's like an easy thing that it's existed in Star Wars, right? Luke's mom, Anakin, and all that shit. Like, okay, yeah, slavery or whatever, that's fine. Don't bring us this like military industrial capitalism fucking bullshit or something. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, they have to fucking sneak that narrative in. Like, it's gotta be from like the only like Asian minority woman in the film, right? It's just like it's such a there's so many tropes and cliches. And then like the other thing that I feel like really didn't fit in was like the slapstick humor.
I thought that it was okay, but there was a lot of it. Whew.
There's a lot of it.
Yeah, I thought that a little was okay, but there was probably too much. Like, whew.
Here's the other great meme. So you think that you killed Leia.
No, I don't want to talk about it. I don't even want to talk about this.
No, dude, we have to talk about it.
Right after that happened, I thought we were about to see some crazy badass shit. I thought that Leia was going to like shoot down a fucking TIE fighter. And I like how everybody on the ship is just like nonchalant as fuck about it. Like Leia like flies back through outer space and everybody's like, "Oh shit, dude, she's back." Like, "Yo, go wrap that bitch in a blanket. Like, get her in the med bay. We're good." Like nobody says anything about it. Like, what the fuck?
Like she literally has like a Superman moment, like literally wills herself back onto the bridge, and
but
then, like
for no reason. There's no character development. There was no struggle. There's no challenge. She's not relevant to the main story arc like that much. Like that was just so bizarre. Why?
And then like literally like in an aside, they're like Admiral Akbar died on the bridge, and it's like, wait, that character was around for fucking ever. Like that guy was a big deal. You can't just fucking do that. Then Leia just like floats back in and fucking Mary Poppins herself back into the fucking area, right? And she's all good. Yeah, wrap that bitch in a blanket. It's done. What the fuck? Oh man, that movie physically pissed me off, dude.
Yeah. I just like if you look at it very lightly, it was fun, but like yeah, as soon as you peel back anything, like.
But it wasn't. Here's the thing. It wasn't. Did you watch Thor Ragnarok?
No, I didn't.
Okay, I think that was a movie that was fun and didn't damage anything. So like Thor Ragnarok was like a really just like fun, lighthearted movie. It was like I think probably most people like wouldn't have a problem with it. But I feel like the problem with Star Wars is that they tried so hard to be a Marvel movie that I have no problem with that in of itself, but that they destroyed. They destroyed the legacy. That is my huge problem with the movie. It's like it wasn't just like a fun one-off. It was like a movie that actually fucked over the franchise.
Wait, which movie did? The Star Wars one?
This Star Wars movie.
Oh,
yeah.
I never take that point of view. Like, I don't think that anything can destroy anything for me, but...
It trivialized, like, every movie, including...
Maybe.
the prequels. It was just, you have to go really far.
Fuck, there were two huge things I want to bring up. Oh, three huge things. Oh, three things. Fuck, I lose track of how many problems this movie had.
Yeah.
Okay, firstly, I feel like the whole main plot was just horribly contrived. They needed to find a better way to do this. This like perpetual like dancing on the outskirts of the vision of the cruiser, like being able to effectively blast it, just seemed really fucking stupid. Like they didn't have any smaller ships that could catch up and blow it up. They couldn't have done a boarding party. They couldn't have jumped one ship ahead by light speed. Like they're literally going to chase it for 24 fucking hours. That whole plot point was horribly contrived. They had to have found a better way. Like even if it was like we have a super ultra powerful generator that even holds for 24 hours, like I would have bought that. That would have been okay. You know, because then they're stationary, they're waiting on this generator to die or something from new bullshit tech, like whatever. But like this, like dancing on the outside of their right at the outside of their fucking effective blast range was really fucking stupid. That was a dumb plot point. Why couldn't the one leader lady? Why couldn't she just tell Poe, oh, by the way, those transports, they all have cloaking devices, so this is actually a really good plan.
Right.
Why not just tell him that?
Set her up to be like they had to set her up to
be a
like
bad guy and then a good guy and then
to have the comeback. Like, why was the Dreadnought like the ultimate fucking badass ship? Like one bomber gets through,
like,
and the little sister.
And
person,
you know this from Eve, right? And from real life, the United States doesn't send a completely unaccompanied aircraft carrier. Or like we have one aircraft carrier and like 3 F-35 sitting on it. Like, what the fuck? If you have ships that are this important, that pissed me off the most. Is when they're like deploy the fighters. Okay, the fucking Ragnarok ship. You're about to send like 1,000 fucking TIE fighters out, right? There's like 8. There's like, you're telling me they've got 8 little fucking fighter class ships defending this massive investment of technology? Why? Like,
yeah, look what they did in fucking Clone Wars. I mean, there were like thousands of ships, right?
Yeah,
Like,
which makes sense.
It's a step back. Like, and the First Order supposedly inherits like all of the power of the Empire, which is like, why are they only sending like the whole end thing is like, they're sending 4 fucking destroyers, and then what about the Lightspeed meme?
Which one?
Okay,
that only one ship can track them at light speed, or
no? That was another one. But I'm saying like at the end, the Vice Admiral light speeds her ship into Snoke's ship.
I actually thought that was really cool. I liked the shot. I thought that scene looked really fucking cool. Yeah.
Not just, but what implications does it have on the universe, or do you care? Because like basically like,
well, like why not undock a bunch of X-wings and just send all of them at light speed into? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, or
like why not do that right at the beginning? Or why not use their smaller medbay ships to do that, or their support ships? Yeah, I don't know.
Or I mean, it just sort of trivializes light speed in general. Like, how do you have any light speed at all if you can collide with objects? Like, how does that like make sense?
Sure, maybe, yeah. Well, that might make sense because the universe is mainly empty space, right?
Yeah, but you only have to fuck up once to actually.
Well, that's why you have ships that calculate your route, right? That's the whole point of the computers.
Okay.
Sure.
I guess I could deal with that.
But yeah, when you introduce like new stuff like that, it's kind of
Yeah, it puts it in a more difficult light. I guess. Do you feel like the film had any kind of resolution or actually solved like any problems from the first one or introduced any new problems?
So like the problem is that like we still don't know anything about Rey. Why is Rey so powerful? Her parents were apparently throwaways. Why is she so strong? We never got any of that at all. Like that's a question that's still even more unanswered than it was initially, because now there are even more questions. Does the Force just choose like random fucking people? Like we don't really know, like, why did Luke fail at anything with the training shit? Like, that one Kylo dude was able to kill all the other Jedi people he was training, that one guy, because I guess the dark side was so strong in him. Like, I don't know.
The whole thing on Luke was, like, the way the character took shape, right? Mm-hmm. Like, Luke... I feel like in Return of the Jedi, it was a really important plot point that every single person in the universe had given up on Vader. But Luke did not, right? Mm-hmm. Luke still believed in the good in Vader.
Yeah.
But then, like, we're to believe that he had this moment where he was going to kill Kylo, right? It made this... that part of it really upset me, because that was, like, I think the big moment that Luke's character was kind of undermined.
Maybe, yeah. Like, he literally doesn't kill Darth fucking Vader.
Yeah.
But he was going to kill this, like, 16-year-old fucking kid. Who was the son of his...
semi-worried.
Who was the son of his sister and best friend. Like, okay.
Who he was, like, sort of kind of not sure might be evil. Like, that was tough. And then there were, like, so many, like, moments that were dramatic around that then just, like, had this, like, weird slapstick humor, and, like, the whole thing was dispelled.
Yeah. Did you ever play the Metal Gear Solid games? I forgot.
Yeah, we even talked about this morning.
Yeah, I remember. You've played 1, 2, and 3, right?
Yeah, a long time ago, though.
One of the things I feel that, and this kind of ties into the Star Wars stuff. Okay, one more random question. These are always my two big go-to examples. Have you ever heard of Rurouni Kenshin, the anime?
Oh, I watched the whole thing and the OVAs, yeah.
Oh!
OAVs, yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
then you're right on the fucking train, okay? In my opinion, okay, prequels are there to shade the way that you view the main thing. That's what a prequel is there to tell you something that you didn't know, to subvert an expectation. So Rurouni Kenshin and Rurouni Kenshin and definitely Metal Gear Solid are there to show you something that you haven't seen before. So this is like one of the principal failings of the prequels in Star Wars. So in Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2, and then in Metal Gear 1 and 2, Big Boss is just the ultimate bad guy. He's just a bad guy. He fucking wants to kill everybody, make an island for soldiers to live, and he wants to nuke everything, and he's the worst guy in the world. He's horrible, right? And Metal Gear Solid 3 comes along, so now you're gonna see, okay, well, what does a big fucking badass, like the baddest guy ever do? Like, how fucked is he? You know, like, he must be horrible, right? And you get an incredibly sympathetic story where you empathize with him and you feel for him at the end of Metal Gear Solid 3. You're like, dude, fucking Big Boss is like, yeah, he had every reason, right? That's how you come away feeling, right, at the end of Metal Gear Solid 3. Like, you saw a totally new side of Big Boss that you could never imagine, right?
Right, and it comes around full circle.
Yeah, exactly. And then like for the Rurouni Kenshin thing, like Rurouni Kenshin is like this kind of carefree, super cool dude or whatever. I think seeing his development, I think that Rurouni Kenshin is kind of a throwaway anime, but I recommend watching the first few seasons just because that OVA is so good that you get to see like where does he get that cross-shaped scar from, and then how does he become who he is. That's like a really cool thing. The prequels,
the OVAs were some of the absolute best, like
animated,
like it.
Yeah.
Ever made. Yeah, it was incredible.
But like in the Star Wars prequels, what do you learn that you don't already know?
Yeah.
Like, you don't learn any, like, so Anakin, like, I was waiting to see a moment where Anakin had like a major dilemma or some decision, because here's the principal question. Do you come across feeling, and if you answer yes to this, you're fucking lying, okay? Or you inserted a whole bunch of shit on your own. Do you ever come across feeling like you had sympathy for Anakin ever? Like, he's just a whiny bitch the entire fucking prequel. You never ever sympathize with Anakin, ever. There's no point where you're like, this is what needed to happen in the prequels. There needed to be a point where it was like, oh my God, like, I totally get why Anakin went to the dark side. Like, I can empathize with this character. Like, it totally makes sense now. I don't know how they would have shown this. Maybe an early love or something would have happened where he was going to lose everything, and the only possible way that he could have overcome it was by, gradually moving to the dark side or making some key decision. But
isn't that exactly what happened?
Like his wife dying from sadness and
hold on. So he saw visions that his wife was. I can't believe I'm in a position to defend the prequels.
I know, where he saw his wife dying, and then Palpatine promised him like the dark side could bring his wife,
but stop her from dying.
That's so weak. That's so shit. Like, I didn't feel satisfying to me. And it also didn't feel satisfying to me because Palpatine is such an obvious fucking bad guy. He's an obvious bad guy. So to watch Anakin what do you see in Palpatine? Cut Dooku's head off, slice his head off. Good work, Anakin. You're a murderous fucking monster machine. Let's go. Like, he's an obvious bad guy. Like, what? Like, to watch him succumb to somebody so fucking stupid just like makes me think of like the whole Anakin character is like this whiny, emo-y little bitchy character that I just never care about at all.
Yeah, I can see that. I think that it's just been so long that I've seen the prequels that I can't remember how bad they are. And I'm so focused on how bad this movie is that like I am trying to find some hope that I think the easiest comparison still felt like Star Wars to me.
Oh, maybe. I feel like the change in tone killed it a lot. I'm not sure.
What change in tone?
So so one thing I'm sorry, I was talking about this earlier. So one thing that I felt like that was interesting is I feel like the tone of this prequel is actually dead on, and I felt like the tone of the first prequel, the episodes 1, 2, and 3 is very off. So I guess when I say tone, like, when you look at like this episode and the last one, you get the tone of like a domineering space empire that's chasing after rebels that are on like the verge of non-existence. You've got the Jedis, you've got this mystical power of the Force where everything is hanging in the balance on some of these mystical characters. I feel like you very much get that in this trilogy now, even if the story is a fucking disaster and the characters suck. You get that in this story like you did in episodes 4, 5, and 6, whereas in the prequels, the tone was like weird space politics stuff. And then like 10-minute lightsaber battles.
Do you think that there was like, what about like the whole like underlying like dark versus light tone of everything in the prequels? Do you feel like that was underrepresented? I feel like the politics were like kind of a smaller part of
I guess
the whole
it just seemed really dumb. Like, oh, watch out, guys, give me all of your political.
Was like 4 fucking hours. Like,
like the intro. I think the opening to one of that movie is like the Jedis are being sent to negotiate like trade agreements or something. Like, is this what Jedi?
But it all leads into like the story at least, right? Like, because
I know, but it's just like so contrived. Like, why do Jedis negotiate trade deals? Do they get like? Is this like their side gigs? Like when police officers are like bodyguards? Do Jedis go and like work as ambassadors? Like, I don't know. It just seems like really weird.
At that time, they're sort of universal enforcers, so they're kind of like neutral parties. I think that made sense. Like that, like all this stuff, like kind of made sense in the canon. But all that politics stuff was so that Palpatine could create the Empire, right? That was all lead up into creating the Empire.
Yeah, I know, but it's just like I don't want something to just tell me like a story where it's like, here's everything you kind of knew. Like, I wanted to feel like I saw something of Darth Vader. Like, I wanted there to be, like in Metal Gear Solid 3, you came away feeling incredibly empathetic towards the boss, or Big Boss, right? He was like,
you want to be empathetic towards Palpatine? Like,
towards Vader.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I wanted to feel like there were moments coming away where it was like where I get, this is a massive shot in the dark. Have you ever heard of Anne Rice? Author?
Yeah, of course.
Really? Wait, did you read the Vampire Chronicles?
The Vampire, yeah, of course.
Oh, shit! Another one. Yeah. Oh, you got it all the memes. Okay, so like the Vampire Lestat, right?
Lestat's such a fucking amazing character.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah,
but like,
such a fucking amazing
but after
character.
the first book, he's just like a huge piece of shit. Like, fuck him. Like, God, you hate him. But then when you read the second book, it's like, oh fuck. Like, that is what a prequel, in my opinion, is supposed to make you feel like. Because then I go back and I look at the first thing, and it just totally reshapes your perception. Like, this guy that was just a massive piece of shit the entire time. Like, oh, I have a totally different view of Lestat the Vampire now, right? And then same thing with Metal Gear Solid 3, like now when everybody brings up the evil, the big boss, blah blah blah, it's like, okay, but like what happened with the boss in the United States turning against? Like I totally understand that character so much more now, right? But it's like when you look at like episodes 4, 5, and 6, you don't look at Darth Vader, or with the Rurouni Kenshin stuff, right? Like Rurouni Kenshin is this happy, carefree guy who has this really dark past, and it's like after watching the prequels, like I totally get it now. He had the lover that was turned against him, and like he killed her lover, and like it totally makes sense. I totally get Rurouni Kenshin's character now, right? But then when you look at like the prequels, it's like Darth Vader, you don't have like some newfound respect where like I wanted to come away from the prequels where like if I would watch episodes 4 and 5 again, I would look at Vader and think like, oh God, what a tragic fucking character. Like I totally like I understand Vader in ways that I never did before. Instead, it's just like, you know, like he had the high ground and he jumps because he's arrogant, and it's just like Vader is like, you know, it's just like.
I guess they put so much more effort. They put so much more effort into that character development, at least, than they did for Rey, who has none.
Yeah, well, she's basically where she started. She's just an unstoppable godlike character that, yeah.
Yeah, an unstoppable killing machine. And, like, what was the whole deal with Kylo killing, like, the Super Emperor guards?
You didn't see it?
Like,
there wasn't
if he was going to take over the First Order, didn't he need those dudes? Those dudes would probably be pretty useful, right?
I don't know. The fact that Rey could even fight those guys, like, in an unfair fight, like, that was, like, some master tier, strongest fighter in the universe shit. Like, she's literally fighting, you know, like, the strongest, these are, like, some of the strongest dudes around, and she doesn't even have any formal lightsaber training. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Oh, God, that movie was bad. Oh, that movie was just so bad. I don't know, man. Is this like...
It feels like you've got two options. You either have incredibly safe narrative structures, like in all the superhero movies. I mistakenly said that Wonder Woman was Marvel earlier, it's DC, but like it still follows DC. Like very highly formulaic stuff, right? Which Marvel does well, but very, very safe. And it works. Or you get like these movies that stray from it, but don't like make awesome changes to it, but they just totally fucking abandon it and get lost up their own ass. Like,
well, do you feel like this way, like in general, like cinema, that like movies?
Did you watch Rogue One?
Yeah.
I thought that was I thought that was worse than either of these two. Rogue One is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my entire fucking life. Because it's lost. Like, the black dude didn't need to be in that movie at all. Everything involving that character could have been left out and nothing would have been lost. Remember in the beginning when you see like that weird mind sucker machine or whatever, and it seems like it's a really big deal, and then it's like never mentioned again? Like, everything about that character was fucked. The main character in that one, she was also another character that suffered from no development. And I was excited going into this because I thought that we were going to see an edgier side of the rebellion, which is because in the opening scene you see the rebel dude, Poe, I think. No, it's not Poe. The girl's lover. Sorry, he stabs the one guy, and it's like, oh, we're going to see like an edgy rebellion, which is cool. That's because rebellions are edgy. They're supposed to be. They're supposed to make you question. You know, are you fighting on the right side of history or not? And then like the main girl, I thought that we were going to watch her transition from bad guy to good guy. I thought that halfway through the movie, I'm trying to think, there has to be something. I thought that halfway through the movie, she was going to have to make a decision to be self-interested versus doing something out of her way to save somebody else. And that was going to be like her big character defining moment where she's become a good guy. But she's a good guy like 5 minutes into the movie. Remember when she like almost sacrificed herself to save the little kid out in public or whatever? It was in the first big fight scene. Yeah, like she becomes like a good guy like right off the bat, and she's supposed to be the baddest of the bad. Don't they imply that she's got like a criminal history that they don't even talk about? It's like so bad in the beginning. Yeah, but she's like a good guy throughout the entire thing. I just thought that was super botched.
Huh. I think I actually liked Rogue One.
I know you did.
Yeah, I did.
You're a massive shitter. Let me guess, you liked it when you saw R2-D2 and C-3PO? You felt like they were really speaking to you when they were in that crowd of people?
Yeah, dude. I need the old cameos. And you know what I also like, that little penguin so that I can have a toy for my kid.
Oh,
like,
yeah?
you know you're going to buy Nathan that fucking penguin.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, you're going to buy him the penguin. You're going to buy him the fucking ice horse or whatever. You're going to buy him the tauntaun or whatever the fuck the thing is. That's everything, dude. Merchandise. That little penguin that goes up against the window. Is that what it is? A porg, someone says?
I don't know what it's called.
That is literally a merchandising technique, okay? There's no reason for that shit to be in the movie except to sell shit. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The little, Do you really? Can you like in the not in Rogue One in the movie we just watched?
Yeah, you're talking about the thing that sits next to Chewbacca and
Chewbacca.
the thing that's screaming. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a fucking Disney merchandising play. We're gonna see those in every fucking store in Disneyland. 100%. Yeah.
I just as a quick comment, that was the movie I just watched. That was a long movie for no character development too. It's not like it was a 2-hour movie. Yeah, like I could have understood if it was like an hour and a half movie, but they had a lot of screen time to do something with those characters. That Rose chick should have been dumped entirely. We didn't need that. The Chinese chick or whatever, she didn't need to be there at all. Why would you introduce another character? That entire side plot,
casino scene. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The whole thing with all that was just dog shit, and
Also, a really important part that's like a massive consequence that will never be experienced, and it won't be in the third one of this part either, right? Is you realize that like 3/4 of the remaining rebellion literally died because of Finn and the Rose girl, and maybe to some extent Poe, because that guy, the lock dude that they brought along, like turned in, like revealed the whole fleet. Like I like how nobody brought that up. That's not like a big deal. Like that's literally on them.
Wait, what, the guy that was like the master locksmith?
Yes.
What?
So when all the ships were flying out of the big thing, when they were in the transports, they were cloaked and they weren't supposed to be seen. The only reason the New Order is able to fire on them is because Finn and Rose brought that locksmith onto the ship, and he made a deal with the
locksmith like gave like the cloaking code
code or whatever. Yeah. Yep. That's a massive thing. Those guys. So Finn is like tangentially responsible for like the death of like 3/4 of like the remaining rebellion.
Because he had trusted this random dude.
Yeah, but like that's never brought up. They're never going to address that. Like that was crazy.
Do you think we'll ever see that like locksmith character again? Like, will there be any kind of comeuppance from that?
No, probably not.
Probably not.
Can you give an example of character development in the original trilogy that you don't think the newest movies have? Oh, it's painfully obvious. You just look at Luke's character. Luke is an inept, bumbling fool in the first movie. I think he's good at like flying his thing, but that's all he can do. He's training with the lightsaber. He gets hit by that little robot thing or whatever. In the second movie, which I think is the first time Luke fights Darth Vader, right? Is the second movie? The Empire Strikes Back? He doesn't fight him in the first one, A New Hope, does he? I'm pretty sure it's in the second movies when they first encounter. This is the big encounter that you've been waiting for, is Luke fighting Darth Vader. His whole training and everything up to that, Obi-Wan is dead. Luke is ready to fight Darth Vader and win. In any movie made today, The Empire Strikes Back is the last film because Luke kills Darth Vader in that film. But that doesn't happen because it was made before when narrative structures were respected, and Luke fucking horribly loses to fucking Vader. Like, he should be dead, right? He gets his arm cut off. The only reason Vader doesn't kill him is because he extends an offer to join him, and then he slides out of Cloud City, and then the Millennium Falcon picks up. And then it's not until 3 movies later that Luke actually does something successful. Like, does Luke really succeed at all on his own in the first 2 movies? Not really, right? Han and Chewbacca are kind of carrying him through, like, rescuing Leia and everything. Luke doesn't really do anything at all, right? Compared to Rey, who wins at everything.
But he still comes off as a good character because he goes through all of the journey.
Well, I'm saying this is a good character. You have to fail to earn your success. Those redeeming moments have to be earned. Like, could you imagine how much shittier the Matrix would be if Neo, when he started fighting Morpheus, was instantly way better than Morpheus? Or if he makes the jump the first time? Or when he shows up the Oracle and the Oracle says, "You are the one, Neo. You're very strong. You're very, very strong," right? Like, the movie loses all of its emotional feel when Neo turns around in the subway and fights Agent Smith for the first time, which is like, problem in my opinion, like that's like the climax of the movie right there. But yeah,
well, that's sort of happened in the following movies, right? So in the Matrix 2 and 3, he becomes this like literal god figure, right?
Yeah, but the movies have a lot of problems in the second and third one, I think.
Yeah, just with character development just being some of it. Yeah. No, it's the real problem with this movie is that it just feels utterly like inauthentic, and you just don't feel endeared to anything.
Yeah.
That was like at the end of it, I just can't. I can't be endeared to anybody, right? Like I can't even be. I think it's also a really big deal to be endeared to villains.
To some extent, you don't necessarily have to, but sure, to some extent, you could be, yeah.
Like in the sense that like you have to at least so like the best villains are people that don't seem like they're just completely evil. right?
Well, but like
for no fucking reason.
But that can work in these kinds of films. In classic hero films, like you can just have a purely evil character, right? Like the Emperor, like in the original Star Wars trilogy, like he was just a purely evil character who wanted to take over the galaxy, like literally.
Yeah, but you didn't have to empathize with him. You had to empathize with Vader.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you could, sure.
What are your thoughts on? Because I just saw it in chat. What were your thoughts on Blade Runner, by the way? The new Blade Runner.
I didn't see it, but I should have.
You really should.
Yeah, I was scared because it's like 3 hours long, and I didn't want to sit through like a fucking Prometheus or some shit. That was gonna be fucking horrible. But
I actually wonder if you would like it.
If it's good, I'll like it. I don't dislike slow movies. Like a lot of people in chat have this impression, like if a movie is like really slow, like I'm gonna hate it. So I absolutely can love a good slow movie.
Rogue One was pretty slow for like the first half.
The problem with Rogue One wasn't that it was slow. I just thought it was very inconsistent.
I wonder why. I don't know why you. I'm like I have a shit memory, but like Rogue One seemed to have a lot of characteristics of a movie that like was good. Like you had loss, you had like a resolution at the end. It set up a story for like another part of the franchise. You had characters that were like that made sacrifices, right? Like what was the problem with it?
I guess like I'm really stuck. Like for me, the big thing, and this actually ties into video games as well. And this might be like where maybe it's I don't want to say an age thing, but like just a taste thing, is that I'm really big on characters. I want characters that I can fall in love with and watch get developed and watch change. I want to be able to see like if I have a conversation with this character from the beginning of the movie versus the end of the movie, I want to see a massive change in that character. So like for JRPGs, did you ever play Final Fantasy VII?
Yeah.
Okay. If I talk to Cloud at the beginning of that game, right? If I describe him, he's narcissistic, ego-driven. He doesn't give a fuck about anybody else. He's literally showing up to jobs for money. The world can suck his fucking dick. He just wants to do his own thing, right? Versus the end of the game, he's ready to sacrifice his life for the world. The energy of the planet is the most important thing. He's going to do whatever he can to save everybody on the planet and defeat Sephiroth. Right? Like there's a massive change in character from beginning to end. Arguably, Harry Potter can kind of do this from the first book to the last book, although he does this in every single book where he regresses at the beginning to like a child and then matures by the end. I like these are the kinds of narratives that I like, where you have a character in the beginning and then by the end they've grown into something that is admirable. They've overcome like flaws that they've had in the beginning. This is why I hate and will never enjoy playing open world games. I will never like Bethesda games because I don't like the blank slate character. It's just not fun for me. This is why I liked The Last of Us. That was like one of my favorite games ever, because like Joel in the beginning was kind of like Cloud, right? He didn't really give a fuck, kind of indifferent, does his thing, very upset that his friend died, doesn't give a fuck about Ellie at all. And then at the end of the game, he's literally ready to fight a whole fucking organization and maybe even doom mankind to save Ellie that he now loves like his missing daughter. Like that's the kind of character development that I look for in story-driven games or in film. So like if I look at a character at the beginning of the film and they're more or less the same at the end of the film, I don't know, those kinds of films hurt me a lot, I think.
How did the character in Rogue One not develop?
Well, like I said, what I felt like in Rogue One was, I know there are examples of this in other films I've watched. What I felt like in Rogue One, what needed to happen was there needed to be her in the beginning, like just being fucking evil, just being a bad hombre. This needed to happen over and over again. And I feel like there needed to be a moment where she had an opportunity to break free, where she had an opportunity to get out or choose the wrong path. But then she was presented with an option to either save somebody or keep somebody from doing something horrible. Something would happen and she would have made a choice like at the halfway mark in the movie. And then you would have seen like, okay, she's changed. Like this is character development. Whereas instead it just felt like, I guess she had like a criminal rap sheet, but she's always like really good at heart and she's always been that way. Right? Is how I felt. Like, because there's no point in the movie where she really feels like, I feel like there's a really good example, like in either in a video game or a movie where this happens, where like a character in the middle that's always been like a piece of shit asshole, like has to turn around and make a decision to not be that character anymore. Fuck, maybe it's Aragorn from Lord of the Rings, how he kind of goes through that whole arc of being an indifferent, I don't give a fuck about Isildur or any of the ball-sucking bullshit, like I want to do my own thing, and then he takes on the role of king at the end, and he's like, fuck it, I will stand up for mankind, like, oh, you could argue Vegeta. Oh, did you watch Dragon Ball Z with your girlfriend, right?
Yeah, Dragon Ball Z is my
that's
religion.
That's the perfect example in the best saga which you should know I'm talking about the Cell Saga, was Vegeta.
Yep.
That character arc,
Cell Saga's fucking amazing.
That's what I expected to see in that main character girl. Vegeta, somebody that only cares about himself. His whole purpose of existing is just to be stronger than Kakarot. That's the only thing he cares about. But at the end, he goes to fight Cell, understanding that he's being possibly self-sacrificial or whatever to make time for other shit, or Goku or Gohan or whatever. Like, Vegeta truly wants to save the planet at the end. For the Cell Saga, I believe, is the first time in the entire Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z history, I think Vegeta's only introduced in Dragon Ball Z, it's the first time in Dragon Ball Z history where Vegeta enters a fight where he's fighting for more than his personal ambition.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's
the moment that really climaxes, I felt was like Buu Saga, actually. So
the Buu Saga for me is like the second and third Matrix movie, but okay, go ahead.
I know it is, but
is it where he combines with Kakarot and with the rings?
No. Vegeta blows himself up. He dies to try to defeat Fat Buu.
Oh, sure.
So like that's literally his ending thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was Goku who sacrificed himself in Cell Saga because he
uses instant transmission to go to King Kai's
planet, and then he's like oh, sorry, I didn't know where to bring him, and then they fucking all blow up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I get what you're saying. But do you feel like the character in Rogue One, I guess, got around that a little bit because of that self-sacrifice at the end? Like, she kind of gives her life for the rebellion, and that's sort of the ultimate.
The only reason I don't like that, and this happens a lot to the girl, is that that moment would have been so much better if she had an opportunity at some point to there's an escape pod, we have to get out of here right now where this shit is gonna blow, let's leave. And she makes the decision, she's like, no, I have to go the other way and transmit the plans or whatever, I can't leave, I have because she never made the choice to be sacrificial, it just happened to her. Everything in that plot just kind of happens to her, she doesn't really have a choice, whereas if she actually made that decision, there's a ship I could escape on, but I'm not gonna do it, I'm gonna go back and make the right choice. I feel like that would have been a more powerful thing than just, she kind of has to die, she's stuck on a thing that's blowing up,
What was your feeling? So did you like or not like the first 3 Lord of the Rings movies?
The three Lord of the Rings movies. In terms of
there were 6, but I don't talk about the last.
The 3 Lord of the Rings movies are pretty close to perfect, I think, in terms of classical storytelling.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, and then the next 3, you watch those? The Hobbit
I didn't
movies?
watch The Hobbit. I heard bad things kind of about The Hobbit, and I just didn't want to the 3 Lord of the Rings movies.
The third Hobbit
really
movie was
good.
the worst movie I've ever seen.
Okay. Was that the one where they had to reshoot it halfway through? I read horror stories of the 18-hour days that Peter Jackson was doing back to back to back to back. They had to oh god. Yeah, I don't know. Those movies seem
that whole movie was a horror story. I mean, it was a horror story of cinema. It was so fucking terrible. Mm-hmm. It was it was so fucking bad. Oh, dude, I guess that's why I just left the theater with I guess you don't put a lot of importance on this, but for me, legacy matters a lot, right? That's why I'm all about the CLG memes, okay? Mm-hmm. Legacy matters a lot. The history of Star Wars for the years that it's built up.
So if MSG rebrands CLG, is that going to ruin the whole thing?
Oh boy.
We're actually being PLG. We're pro logic gaming. We're not counter logic. We're taking the affirmative.
MLG, dude. Madison Logic Garden.
And they get the MLG brand as well. Woo! And then Sundance comes back to lead the whole fucking thing. Sorry. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Faith is restored. All right. So I think legacy matters a lot. When you Star Wars is not to be taken in these kind of individual packets, one movie, right? The whole reason why so many people show up to Star Wars and it sells 54 million in the first night is because people have built this story of their own, Luke Skywalker and Vader. All these people are these sort of icons and myths and legends in our life. They're sort of our society's way of telling stories, which is really fucking important because we don't have tribes anymore. We don't tell, I'm really big on the fucking old caveman memes and shit. I think it's really important to have I think that movies and entertainers take and people like you, right, take the role of shamans basically in old tribes, which is you get in what other world, what other thing other than the entertainer can get 10,000 people to clap their hands at once, right? Sure. There's a sort of union, there's a sort of connected humanity in I swear to God I'm going somewhere with this. There's a sort of connected humanity in this sort of mutual adoration of stories and myth. Okay, so I feel the character of Luke Skywalker is a big fucking deal. to America.
Sure.
And is a big fucking deal to a lot of people, and worldwide, right? Not just America. I think that's dense to say that. So to bastardize that character and to trivialize that character destroys a legend, and is the most depressing thing about this movie to me.
Maybe, possibly. Yeah, I can understand that. Here's something that's very interesting that I never thought about until I read a throwaway comment on this a while ago, and it really took hold in me. Did you watch the Harry Potter the Harry Potter series?
Yeah.
Or read it? Did you read it?
Yes.
So, regardless of what you think about Harry Potter, as whether you liked it or dislike it, you have to admit that the world of Harry Potter is insanely fucking cool, right? Do you agree with that? That like just that world with the wands and the spells and the schools and everything it's just like a really cool world. Do you agree with that or do you disagree with that?
Yeah. So I'm really big on magic being more prominent in cinema.
Okay.
And I like that, like the Voldemort versus Dumbledore fight is.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of things that are missing in cinema. This is like interesting you bring this up. Real quick aside, two things that almost never exist. Okay, really, really fucking good space battles.
Yeah.
And really, really good mage versus mage battles.
Yeah.
So the space battle, the coolest space battle I've ever seen was in Serenity.
Serenity?
The Firefly movie.
Oh, okay.
When all the ships warp in, and so there's a really fucking cool scene you should see on YouTube at some point. They're like, probably anybody who's watched Serenity, they'll be like, holy shit, that was fucking amazing. And then I think one of the best magic to magic battles that was ever like recorded on film was the Dumbledore versus Voldemort fight. That was so fucking cool.
Sure,
right?
Possibly, yeah.
Great visuals, like really just awesome fight. Like it was like the story set it up in the right way. Yeah.
Yeah, it was iconic. Yeah, it was really, really, really well done.
So I really did like the magic, the display of magic in Harry Potter. Even in movie form, like I think it was really good.
Yeah. So the only thing I was
curious beasts and where to find them.
Yeah, I didn't watch that. But the only thing I was saying is that, like the Harry Potter universe is like really cool, but the Star Wars universe, if you really think about it, feels kind of empty and dead. There's not really much, like unless you like read a bunch of books, there's not really much that happens like that makes you feel like I want to be a part of this universe. Do you ever feel that way, or
in the first three? Like you're talking about the
episode
whole
4,
universe?
5, and 6?
Yeah. Okay, but there's a lot of universes that do that successfully. Okay, so like Warhammer 40k, Shadowrun, which are some of my favorite universes, do that too. Like these are universes that you absolutely would never want to fucking live in. They're terrible fucking places to live.
Well, I don't mean like terrible places to mean. I'm sorry, I don't mean like terrible places. I just mean like kind of like
on Tatooine.
No, I just mean like they're kind of like bland. Like I feel like in Harry Potter, I feel like I could envision like a million different things that exist in the Harry Potter universe and different lives and different people. Whereas like in the Star Wars universe, it's like you've got the rebellion and then the empire, but there's just not much to that like space universe. You just have like the ships that fight each other, and there's kind of like the Jedi dudes, but it feels like there's just not much to the universe.
Wait, how can that be? There's like what would add more muchness? Like
I don't really know. It just feels like if I think of like if I were to think in episodes, like if I were to think of the Harry Potter thing, if I wanted to spin off like a series or something, I could do like a trillion different things just because of the richness, the depth of that universe. Whereas in Star Wars, if I wanted to write stuff based on that, I guess I could write about like a Jedi or like a starfighter guy in like the rebellion or the empire, but that's like really it. There's not like anything else to that universe.
I disagree pretty big. There is a how familiar are you with like the stuff that used to be canon in the books, like around Star Wars?
I don't believe in EU. I do not believe in extended universe. So if you're about to bring up some comic bullshit,
this stuff was canon until Lucas and Disney were like, it's not. So
sounds like it's not canon anymore then.
What the fuck? It was for years though. So so a really big part of this was Chewie died, right?
Okay.
And he died on a fucking crazy planet with all of these aliens and shit, and it was like a really big deal. Okay, fine. I'll play this game. We'll only take Star Wars by the movies.
Sure. Well, I mean, like, if you're gonna bring in like books and shit, like I, I'll agree with you. Like I have to. I haven't read. I'm not sure this. Yeah.
Right. I'm not gonna do that. I decided midway that I'm not. We'll just stick to the movie. That's where we both have common ground. There are tons of interesting planets that the Jedi visit. There's the fucking lava planet where they've got that shit going on. There's trade unions and like federal unions where there's like people fucking go into war and clones and shit and fucking all kinds of like. I think the universe is like pretty well expanded. Like it's established that there's all kinds of other stuff going on in the universe that's in some ways like bigger than the Jedi, right? Like the Jedi can't handle all of it, and that like the Clone Wars are kind of like bigger than the Jedi, right? The Jedi are involved in it, but they can't stop it because despite like their best efforts, this is just a bigger deal than them. And I feel like the universe of Star Wars throughout the movies like has a lot of diversity, and like I don't know, it just like doesn't feel empty. I don't know.
Okay, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's not fair to compare it to Harry Potter because you can do a lot more with like magical shit than just space stuff, but.
So, Harry Potter is so much easier to tell the story because you're on one planet and you're basically focused on like a school for like half the fucking, like way more than half the series, right?
Sure.
So all you have to do is you have to like kind of like set the rules of that, and then you're kind of good to go, and you just sort of like make characters based on that. But with like Star Wars, I think it's a lot harder to make someone have like a full picture of like a living, breathing universe. That's really fucking hard to do. But I think like, can you think of a movie that did it better in like in like that kind of
stuff?
Yeah.
What about the Firefly series? I never watched it, but I always hear people suck it off all the time.
How come you haven't watched Firefly?
Because it got canceled, so I feel like I would just be setting myself up for like a ruined orgasm or something.
Wait, what the fuck? I mean, you could still like experience. So you're saying that like if something is no longer in existence,
not just in existence, but incomplete and canceled. Fuck, I don't want to put myself through that. What the fuck?
I don't think that makes any sense.
It does.
Like,
it's canceled. I don't want to start watching it.
But you can still get enjoyment from it.
But the half the enjoyment was like waiting for season 2, wasn't it?
Well, they made Serenity, and Serenity was like supposedly to close up the series. Like once I don't know if it really did, but like you're gonna get blue balled, but you're gonna have like a really good time on the way there.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Did you watch Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind or whatever?
What the fuck's that? I've never heard of that.
Has to do with the guy, whether or not you'd go into a relationship knowing it was doomed to fail just for the enjoyment of being in the relationship. It sounds like your answer would be yes, I guess. All right.
Yeah, of course it would be. Your answer should be yes too. Was your answer no?
Yeah, my answer would be no. Well, there you
then
go.
you deny like all of the. Whoa, this is inconsistent, Steven.
Oh no!
Because you are saying that you believe that the sum of a successful life is failure, and you deny yourself
failure to
all
building to something.
Failure in your own. You are the character in your own story, right? And like your failures define you as becoming the master of whatever you're.
Well, sure, but like if you could never fail, that would probably be optimal, right?
What? No, absolutely not. You live a boring as fuck life. You're memeing now, right? You know you're in a corner.
I'm not. I don't feel like this is the same applicable thing. Like, if you know that, if you could somehow know that a relationship was 100% doomed to fail from the start, why would you even begin it? If I thought that they were worth it, then I would still be dating women. That's why I swear that shit off, because I realized they were all.
You didn't swear it off.
I did. I'm MGTOW now. You didn't know that? I'm MGTOW. I swore that shit off.
There's no way that you're gonna become like a fucking Shaolin monk, okay? And I'm gonna find you like.
I didn't say I was a Shaolin monk. I didn't say I was celibate. Okay. I'm just not doing relationships with them because I realized that all of them are doomed to fucking fail with me. So I just be fucking full on MGTOW. That's totally consistent with my life.
And you think this is gonna persist for the next 30 years of your life? You've made a decree, and this decree is going to be your consistent point of view. You're never gonna change it for like next 20 years, 10 years.
Well, I guess we'll see. Maybe I'll change in a year or two.
Yeah, you probably will. But I'm not letting you out of this one, okay? So it is the same thing. So you're saying you okay, let's just break it down. You think that failure is a valuable thing to have in your life, right? You said that.
Sure, yes.
Okay, but you also said that if you could avoid failure, knowing the future, and you could avoid like a thing those failures, you would do it.
Have you ever seen the movie Arrival?
Yes. I loved Arrival.
Yeah.
Did you hate it?
Well, I kind of, but not a little bit.
Listen,
I guess this is because it's
fucking amazing. Well,
okay, actually, I should have brought that up because Arrival brings up the same question that other movie did, and that's going into your question, right? Because she chooses to have her daughter and everything, knowing that she would die, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, but so you think she made the right choice?
Absolutely. I think the whole implication of that movie is that it is. because you can't deny the total sum of the experiences. Every oh man, so if I knew that my relationship with my girlfriend would fail, I've been with her for 12 years, right? Which is entirely possible because I was really angry about the Star Wars movie and I didn't talk to her on the car ride back. So maybe that happens. But like, okay, so like if I was sure that relationship would fail, right? Would I take those 12 years back? I would never ever do that because she's so much the sum of who I am today, right?
Interesting. I guess maybe because I feel like other people haven't really contributed to my personality much, I guess.
Do you really believe that?
Oh, yeah.
So like you're just like this this egg that sort of popped up and then like
well no I'm sorry, let me be more specific. People that I'm in relationships with don't alter or shape my personality, I don't think.
So a person that you spend every day with.
Well, this is why all my relationships fall apart, because I spend progressively less and less time with them, I guess. No, I would say probably not. Yeah, I don't think so. All right, well, hey, it's been fun chatting.
Yep, good stuff, man. I'll see you on the flip side next. Do people still say that? I'm saying that.
Yeah, I'll see you on the flip side. Be careful. Okay. That's what I say, okay? Be careful, dude.
Okay, you too, man.
All right, see you later.
Good night.